Heterogeneous grouping in some ways is a misnomer because homogeneous grouping probably really isn't real. I mean, the only way that I could group a kid and say that I'm grouping them and they're all the same is if they need a particular skill or strategy. Other than that, everybody's really different. I mean, every reader's different. They bring different schema, different cultural experiences to each page. If I'm going to be doing homogeneous grouping, it has to be for a real specific purpose. With respect to heterogeneous grouping, as it involves or implicates race and language and culture, I would say that it's a very good thing to do. Everything has to be done in balance. If I'm going to put a kid in a group for an instructional purpose, I better have a sound reason for it. If I'm going to ask kids to get into groups based on interest, they ought to have very clear conceptions of how they view their interests given the text that I might be providing. So everyone has to be clear about what group we're going into at a particular time and why we're doing it. That's the most important thing.
Students shouldn't be separated for long periods of time in any case, and that if you had a grouping plan that you were using that caused children to be separated by performance, and that it so happened in that school that separating children by performance also separated them by ethnicity or language background or what have you, it would give you a very strong message that this is not a good thing to do.
Flexible grouping by definition means that you're not trapped in the same group all the time. I mean, that's it, period. So teachers have to monitor how kids are moving from group to group or whether they're trapped in a group. We want kids who seem to belong to certain groups by virtue of their own choice or how we put them in there. We want to break down those boundaries and move them around. So if I have a group of kids who I pulled together to do a little mini lesson on how to infer while you read and how to keep track of what you're thinking using Post-its, then I want to make sure that that kid doesn't remain in the same skills-based group day after day after day. So it's all about balance, it's all about flexibility, because the more flexibility you bring to your approach, the greater the kids learn from each other.